Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time once again for Living Hope, a weekly journey designed to provide hope, inspiration, and education for those living with pancreatic cancer, sharing the real stories of those really affected by this deadly disease and how they deal with it on a daily basis. And today, well, we're going to take a dive into the one topic that surfaces over and over again, because it is World Pancreatic. Is it Pancreatic Cancer Day? What's it?
Yes, you got it right. World Pancreatic Cancer Day.
So the one question that keeps coming up, no matter how many of these shows we do, what the heck is the pancreas?
Well, the pancreas is a very important organ that, like you say, none of us, really, I don't think we even think about it unless there's some issue or something happens.
It's one of those handful of organs like the appendix and some others out there that I know I sort of got. I hear somebody say, but it's not my lungs, not my heart, it's not my kidney. I know what those do. I know where they are. But I don't even know where these other things are or what they do. Are they left over from when we were all lizards or something? Is this just like the tail in our tailbone or something here?
Well, I'm not too sure about the appendix. I really don't know what that's needed. Or
Yeah,
what we
I don't
need
know
it
what that
for.
does either.
Yeah, apparently I don't want to say gives the doctor something to do, but
When they cut it out.
yeah, you can live without your appendix. So I'm not really sure what the what the vital organ, what that is for, what it really does.
Right.
But with the pancreas, it's not something, I mean, you can live without it, but you have to do something in place of that. You have to take enzymes, or, you have to be maybe insulin. So it's not like you can just remove it and then go on with your life. It's a life-changing thing that happens to people if they're able to have this
Well,
surgery.
I know we talked about doing an education thing today here, rather than just a story. So we're gonna you've been dealing with this for 20 years.
21, give me that one year.
There you go. Give her that extra year. Don't take that year away from you. 21 years, and in that time, I dare say you've had this conversation 100,000 times. We've had it a number of times, but we'll take a deeper dive in it. Maybe we'll even answer some questions. I'll ask some questions. You can give us some overviews here. Let's start with, where is the darn thing?
That's a really good question. The pancreas, actually, it's a gland, and it's about 6 inches long, and it's located in your abdomen. They say it's shaped like a flat pear, though when I look at it, it doesn't resemble that to me, but that's what they say, so it's okay. I'll go with it. But it's behind your stomach, more towards the spine area.
So it's in the middle somewhere there.
Yeah, so it's closer to the spine. That's why a lot of people, they have backaches. Or maybe their side will hurt, so that they get
Can I feel it? Can I touch it in there? Can I wiggle it around or
no,
something?
the tumor would have to be, well, it would have to be really big to feel it. That was one of the problems with diagnosing it. It's not like you can lay down on the table and the doctor can poke around and feel it.
Yeah.
Generally, it has to be more invasive tests done to locate it. But
I mean, I can feel my heartbeat. I can feel my lungs. I can feel other organs. Even your kid, you get a punch in the kidneys or something, you got it right there or something.
Right. But the way this is, it's just...
Or you get a kidney stone or something. Yeah.
Definitely can feel that one, right?
Yeah.
But it's like the wide end of the pancreas is on the right side of your body, and that's called the head. The middle sections are the neck and the body, and the tail, the thin end of the pancreas, is kind of like it lays more on the left side of the body.
So if I pulled it out, it's 6 inches long, and is it like plump? Is it round? Is it square? Is it flat? Is it?
I should have brought the picture of it.
Yeah, I mean, like your heart. We have a picture of a brain. Somebody got me one of those as a gag. I thought, okay, this is what your brain looks like on podcast, but it's a medical model. They must have medical models of a podcast, of a pancreas that they show medical students or something.
Actually, they do, and we actually have one that we use a lot for our events and stuff. So I should have. One of these days I'll bring it. We can put it over here. At least people can see it who watch.
Right.
But it's described as pear-shaped, a flat pear-shaped. So you have the bigger end, which, like I said, is the head, and then the smaller end is the tail.
So it's kind of flat, or is it?
Yeah, it is
round like a
kind of flat,
pear, right?
kind of flat. So there's two important blood vessels that cross behind the neck of the pancreas. And sometimes, depending on where the tumor is located, that can make surgery very difficult. That's kind of my situation.
You've had people talk about that, where wherever the tumor grows on this thing might pinch a blood vessel or be too close to a blood vessel, and then they can't do anything about it.
Well, some procedures have come a long way. There are some that have been able to go in and have that done, which is great. Just there's also a lot of us who the way it's located entwined with the arteries, it's not able to do safely yet. But I'm
Right.
sure at some point in time, the way they've come across being able to take out, tumors that they thought never would be able to take out, at some point in time, that's my hope, is they're going to be able to come across something to do that.
Right. So it's somehow entwined, gets entwined, you have blood vessels around there. You said there's two big ones.
Yeah, you have the blood vessel, and you have the major artery that leads through there as well. So
Okay.
it's got to be very careful, depending, like I said, where the tumor's located.
So you keep saying because it's in the middle of your body, not on the outer edges of your body, can't see it, can't touch it, can't feel it. And the only way I know it's got a problem is what? You have these symptoms that too many people mistake for something else. It's pressing on my spine, so my back hurts.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the symptoms, you get stomach pain, mid-back pain, there's unexplained weight loss.
Because it's stuck in between your stomach and your back. So it impacts either your stomach or your back, and you wrongly assume it's those areas and not the thing in between.
Well, yeah, you're looking at, it could be, indigestion. A lot of times it's, they think it could be an ulcer, or it could be gallstones. So they don't really think about it being the pancreas as early on as I think I would like to see them.
The gallstone, that's another one. I don't know what that does.
Yeah. Well, does have some value to it, but you can live without it. You just have to make you're supposed to make some dietary changes.
Right.
But like I said, again, with the pancreas, it's a very main artery, main organ that we really need. And some of the other things that you can notice, maybe changes in your stool, onset diabetes, jaundice. And the problem is that a lot of these can be, like I said, onset of anything else. It can be pancreatitis or gallstones, irritable bowel syndrome. But if you turn jaundice, that is something you need to get to the doctor right away.
That's usually I won't say yellow flag, the red flag. That's the one that really wakes people up. Jaundice is what? Your eyes look yellow, your skin looks yellow?
Yeah, your skin and your eyes, you will see a yellow tint. So if you see that, that's something you need to contact your doctor immediately. Or go directly, I would say, to ER, because that means that there's definitely an issue there and you need to get it taken care of
And
quickly.
that's the only thing that causes your eyes or skin to do that? Or are there other possible reasons?
There's other possible reasons too, if there's like the bile duct can be blocked or something to do with the liver. But it's just important enough that if you do see yellowing of your skin and eyes, you need to get in. Don't put it off. If it's a weekend, go into ER, whatever, urgent care, whatever it is you need to do, but don't let it sit there until thinking it's nothing.
And so the reason this is so deadly is partly because, maybe mainly because, nobody gets it until it's too late. You don't even know you got a problem. You put it off. You think it's something else. You delay. You defer. They look at the wrong thing, wrong diagnosis, and by the time they discover it, it's too late.
Yeah, it takes, like I said, it's not something they look at first. They consider it to be a pretty rare disease, only because when you're looking at, like this year, 64,000 people will be diagnosed, but when you look at other cancers, you may be looking at 300,000.
Yeah.
So
right.
just because of the small number, but I think they need to change that attitude, because I run into so many people who have some sort of connection. And, if it's that rare of a disease, I don't understand how I can see so many, but it has to do with an overall numbers is what they're looking at.
And we still haven't decided whether or not it is an inherited, whether you're at a higher risk. It's in your genes. They always say immediately on the forms I fill out, have you had a history of heart disease in your family? You had a history of, usually just say cancer, but usually they're thinking of something else. And the assumption is that runs in your genes, that runs in your families here. But nobody's ever asked me if you had pancreatic cancer in your family.
No, I don't think they specify. I know I've seen a couple times breast cancer on a form or something, but I don't think they really specify for pancreatic cancer. But it can, if you have one or two more people in your family, then it may put you at a higher risk. I think now they're even suggesting if you have one person who's closely related, like, your parents, your sibling, grandparents, something like that, then to
You
get
had
it
what,
checked.
2 or 3?
I had 4 family members.
4?
Yeah. My mother, father, grandmother, and uncle all had pancreatic cancer and all died from it. So my mom did live the longest out of the group. She lived 8 years, but my dad and his family were gone with just a matter of weeks. So
No, you've lived the longest.
well, yeah, but I meant those that are not here with us anymore.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder why, this has nothing to do with anything. We're not going to prove anything, but everybody wonders, do we have cancers more today than we did 100 years ago? And I ask that for two reasons. One, we live longer, so maybe these are things as you get older, but pancreatic cancer doesn't necessarily follow. It's not something that just older people get. And two, of course, all the crap we consume, wear, breathe, all this industrial stuff that we've filled our lives with here, industrial compounds, industrial food, industrial farming, industrial pesticides, industrial pollutants, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Everything's plastic, fake, processed. And I wonder if that's just the byproduct of all this.
I think so, because I think, like you said, when, we weren't living, maybe to be only 35 years old, I don't know that there was a large, group of people with pancreatic cancer or any cancer. I think a lot of it has to be our diet, the processed food, and just what we're putting out in the air.
Yeah,
I mean,
the environment that we
yeah.
live in. Because you look at what did George Washington die from? I don't know, but most of them died from something they contracted. That was my impression. There was all these diseases floating around: yellow fever, scarlet fever, tuberculosis, or something. There were things in the air. There were germs. There were diseases, and you got these things. The plague came through. The yellow fever came through. The something came through, and everybody everybody fell victim to this. And when we got rid of most of those kinds of diseases, we got rid of the mosquitoes. We cleaned up the sewage. We created vaccines, et cetera, et cetera. Those sort of diseases that for generations, for hundreds, maybe thousands of years, killed people, went away. And now we've got all these malignancies, these tumors, these things that grow and kill us.
Yeah, I would have to say, because we know a lot of people that live, if you want to say, the perfect life. I mean, they don't drink, they don't smoke, they exercise, they eat right, and they still die from pancreatic cancer.
Yeah,
So that,
right.
I would think, almost would have to be environmental if they can't find any family history. Like, there was no history in my family of any cancer. They all either died in an accident or of old age.
Yeah, right.
So what is the connection there? It's really difficult, and not really getting a lot of answers on that, but still
Yeah,
hoping to find out.
I wonder if anybody's done any research backwards, any smart graduate student and gone and just look at the AI, the world of AI. They can analyze giant databases instantly and try and see patterns. That'd be an interesting AI project to look at over the last, I don't know, 100 years, couple of 100 years. What did people die of? And has the rate of some of these cancers increased as other things decreased?
Yeah, and I think it's not, I mean,
Polio or something, other sorts of things that we just pretty much wiped out.
it would be good. I think I would be interested to find out, only because you're trying to find answers to things when,
Right.
like I said, especially to that person who, if you want to say they were living the perfect life, and how is it that they contacted this, and why did they die from this, and from what, I mean, there has to be something, just like there has to be a common denominator why some of us are surviving and others don't. I mean, because everybody I know wants to live. They have the will. They have
Right.
they have the fight, but they don't all survive. So
Right.
what is that common? There has to be a common denominator there somewhere, and how do we find it?
Right. So again, we're all trying to think of ways to avoid. We're eating healthier. We're exercising more, somewhat, all this stuff. At least we know we should, and more people do it. And we are living longer lives. It was unheard of people live into the 80s or 90s. Now that seems to be not unheard of. I won't say it's still the norm. I think the average age is still in the 70s or something here. But overall, it's not unusual. I went to somebody's birthday that was 100 years old the other day.
Oh, jeez.
And I've gone to a couple of those in the last few years. I don't think anybody knew anybody that was 100 years old. I don't know. I just wonder. So we don't have any idea where it comes from. It might be genetic. It might be environmental. It might just be we're living longer. It could be any or all of those things. And we don't know why when some people get it, you won the lotto. You lived 21 years. You've changed something. And when people say, well, how have you done it? What do you say?
It's really a hard question, because I don't know. I mean, it's just the luck of the draw, or I always tell people God's not ready for me, for one thing. 'Cause, but it's really difficult, and it is a question I get asked a lot, because I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, was it because I was lucky to be diagnosed early, and that was because I had already lost 3 family members? That's not
Probably helped, right?
yeah, I mean, but even in that form, I had doctors who just weren't willing to look at it. They weren't willing to look and see if that's, if I had any precursors, or because they didn't think it was
And you
hereditary.
did change your diet and find some supplements and some other thing. You went to a holistic practitioner that got you on different food. You got rid of the Dr. Peppers and
My Dr. Pepper.
the
yes.
sugars. And because this other show, I'm trying to get you on this other show here. Boy, he just preaches and teaches against sugar all the time. Sugar to him is one of the things that feeds cancers.
Yeah, well, I'm doing
Because
something.
it feeds inflammation, certainly.
I think that's it a lot. That's a really controversial side, opinion as well. As some doctors believe that yes, sugar does feed cancer, and others believe it doesn't. But there has to be some correlation there between sugar and cancer.
Because sugar's in everything. Every food we've got's got a little bit of sugar in it.
Yeah, things you even look at and you wonder why in the heck, it's
Sugar
just-
and salt. Everything's filled with sugar and salt.
So you have to be very, very careful. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why I'm still here. It's just because it's just my time. This is what I'm meant to do.
Well, you were meant to do this show. That's why we need you to do this show here and talk
That's-
about it. But I'm sure you get asked. I went to the guy's 100th birthday. Everybody lines up and asks him the same question. What's the secret? He goes, I don't know.
And that's it. You don't know. It's just like I said, is God's just not ready for us yet and wants us to be here while he prepares maybe
Because some
for
people
us?
are very adamant, no, I changed my diet, I exercise this. But then we've seen the examples. You had some people come in here. Athletes, young, no alcohol, no food, no bad habits, no nothing, still got it.
Yeah, and it's just and some of them survived a while, and some of them were very short-lived. So
Yeah.
it's hard to say why some of us, like I said, I wish we could find that common denominator, because I think it would help bring more survivors.
But the one thing
longer.
that seems clear from every discussion we've had is the earlier you get it, the better your chances.
I think
As with
early
any
diagnosis is the most important thing. If you can catch it early, in the early stages, especially before it spreads,
Right.
you have much more treatment options. Once it spreads, it's really difficult.
Right.
Doctors aren't typically going to go in there and do any surgery if it's spread to another organ already.
Right.
So it makes it difficult. You have to rely on chemotherapy and radiation, and those aren't easy to do.
No, somebody described radiation to me once as trying to use a hammer to remove a sliver. You're banging away at your whole finger, smashing everything there just to get that one little piece out.
Yeah, well, it's the same with chemotherapy. I mean, it doesn't know the bad, technically just the bad cell. It's going after everything. So the side effects left from that can be very devastating, but,
So
it's-
the most exciting news I've heard in the while we've done this show is Aggie Hirschberg, when she came in. She won't say when or where or how or who, but her fortune and, her husband died, and she's devoted her life and her fortune that they accumulated together to trying to figure this out. As she says, kind of kiddingly, I thought this would be quick. We're smart, we're wealthy, we'll find the best and the brightest, and we'll just throw some money at it. And here they are 20, 25 years later or something, still digging away. But the encouragement I heard was she thinks there will be a blood test.
That's something they're working on, and they actually just celebrated their 26th year. But you can go on to pancreatic.org and see the grants that they've done and all the work that they're doing. Listen to some of the symposiums they have, and they have a lot of webinars for people to listen to. But yeah, she's very dedicated and is just continue to fight. And their slogan is, never give up. Because they do feel, and I have to agree, we're getting closer. It's just taking so long to get there, but I think we will get there.
Because that would be a game changer. Then you go in to have your annual blood work, and they go, oops, we discovered something. We better get to it now. Maybe even before it's starting to grow, or it's a little tiny growth or something here.
That's what they were. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, but the marker would be there. Yeah.
That's what they were able to do with prostate cancer. In the early days, prostate cancer had the same pretty much low survival rate that pancreatic cancer had. But they developed that blood test, the PSA, that you guys can go in and have done, and now you can catch it early. So their survival rate is almost 100%.
Yeah, right.
It really increased just by that blood test.
The thing every man of a certain age, me included, that's the first thing they talk about is your prostate, your prostate, your prostate. Because that used to be, as you said, a very deadly form of cancer, and now it's still serious, but it's survivable.
Yeah, I think it's treatable, and I think a lot of the reasons why, their survival rate was so low is because, like with pancreatic cancer, the only way to diagnose it at that time was an invasive procedure, right?
Right.
So, and no guy wants to go through that. But now that they've come
No.
up,
No, let's emphasize that. No.
well, if that's the worst you guys have to go through, you've got it pretty lucky, let me tell you.
I don't know. I heard people describe it to me. I don't think so.
But coming up with that blood test, I think really helped them with their survival rate. And I
Yes.
think that's something that if we can get something that's not so invasive, that you can just go in with when you do your physical and have them check. I mean, they check your kidney function and liver functions now, so why not just add that to it? But we need to have that blood test that's accurate enough that it can be used.
Yeah. Same thing with Alzheimer's and other diseases like that. We've talked another deadly, whole different type of thing. And they're still debating, is it diet? They think there's some component to it. Is it hereditary? They think there's some component to it. And is it just old age? Our bodies, how long were we meant to live before our bodies start breaking down? All of those three factors factor into that one too, because we do a show with Dr. Trin weekdays at Thursdays at 9 a.m. He talks about that, or 8 a.m. Sorry, 8 a.m. 8 to 9. So I think we're at an interesting inflection point. Do we still know what the darn thing does, or why do we need? We didn't talk about that. Why do we need this organ? What the heck does it do?
Yeah, we really do need it. Like I said, we talked
Just
about
cut
the
it out.
appendix. Not quite that easy. I mean, like the appendix we talked about, we don't really know what it does. I'm sure
Yank that thing out.
I'm sure it has something that it's supposed to do. We just either don't use it anymore or don't need it. I don't know. But for the pancreas, it is very important because it serves two main functions. One, it releases enzymes to help with digestion of your food.
Okay.
And really important, it releases the hormones for your blood sugar regulation. So with insulin, so it's something that's really needed. And depending on how invasive the surgery is, they can go in and remove the tumor, and maybe you don't have to use insulin. But if they remove a certain amount of your pancreas or the whole pancreas, you'll become a diabetic at that time right away. So you'll need to go on insulin. A lot of people are able to not use enzymes, but majority you need those enzymes to help break up the food.
Do you use enzymes?
Well, I'm like, I do and I don't.
Oh, you're one of those. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm one of those that when I'm feeling fine, I tend to forget or not do it. But then as I go along, I realize, okay, I need to start getting back on it again, because it can make a big difference with, when you eat and what you're eating and stuff. So it's really important, but it's taking the enzymes is really difficult because you don't really always know. It's kind of by trial and error when you're taking them to know how many you need to take with, and then they tell you take it with meals. Well, are you talking about, what size meal are you talking about? Are you talking about snacks or what? And so you really need to get educated on taking those enzymes and take them as you're supposed to. And that is with meals. And I would suggest you take them as you're supposed to and not.
Is it a pill? You just pop
Yes,
a
it
pill?
comes in a pill form, a capsule. Mine are capsules. Excuse me,
You
but
can't
yeah,
sprinkle it like pepper or something on your food or something.
I wouldn't suggest that. I don't know. I've never had anybody do that. It might be really easier, because it is difficult. Sometimes you have to take, 2, 3, 4 of them, swallow them, a glass of water, get them down, and then you're supposed to eat. And
Yeah.
sometimes there have been times I've felt full just from taking my enzymes, but it is important to do it. So I don't want to lead anybody not to. Don't follow my example in that way, because at some point in time it comes back and it bites me, and I realize I have to get back on the enzymes.
You had, what's the guy's name that works for the Justice Department or something?
Oh yes, Tom. We had him on here.
Tom
Yeah,
Rozak.
yeah.
Fascinating guy. Go listen to that one if you've never heard it. He's been on a couple of times. He talks about in excruciating detail having had the Whipple. That's the other been the big savior. This fancy procedure, they not only go and cut out your pancreas, they rewire your plumbing system.
Yeah, that's a difficult surgery, and unfortunately, not everybody is able to have that surgery done. So, it's a very small percentage, because normally by the time pancreatic cancer is diagnosed, it's usually spread to another organ,
Right.
and a lot of times they're not. Well, I shouldn't say they're not going to, but in my experience, I've not heard of a doctor
No, once
doing
it starts spreading, then
Yeah.
they just close you up. And he talks about not only is it long, what is it, 8 or 9 hours?
It can be anywhere up to 12 hours. I
12
believe,
hour
yeah.
surgery. That's bad enough. and then you come out and your insides are rewired to bypass things to try and find, I'm not quite sure exactly how, but somehow it bypasses this and does some other things here. Do you have to carry like a, what's the thing when they take it?
Colostomy bag.
Colostomy bag or something?
I think that's an individual thing. I don't know a lot of people that go on a colostomy bag after having a Whipple, so I can't say on that. But for most people, it's just going, and they call it replumbing because you're reattaching everything, and you remove a lot of times part of the stomach, the gallbladder, some of the spleen, the intestines get shortened up. So
A lot of stuff there,
yeah.
and he talks about, so it permanently changes your digestive, lots of digestive distress, lots of gas or stomach upsets or things or whatever here.
Yeah, because certain foods, I mean, can really cause you a lot of discomfort, and that's why, again, the enzymes are important to take those after surgery. Even for a lot of people who don't have surgery, the enzymes are really needed, so you just need to be careful with it. But yeah, the replumbing of your insides isn't an easy thing.
But as he said,
know.
what's the choice? If it's that or dying, then he took that. And so he lives with that. He just accommodates that, and it's extended his life. Is that a permanent fix? Does it, I guess it takes as long as the cancer hasn't spread, they got it, and you wait 4 or 5 years, they say, to make sure there's no reoccurrence, and you're good.
Well, with pancreatic cancer, it's a little different, unfortunately, because it does, and I don't want to, bring anybody down, but it does have a high occurrence rate. So a lot of times they may not see it. And I've not really, for pancreatic cancer, they don't really use the word remission. It's more like no evidence of disease because they're not seeing it at that time. But that doesn't mean at some point in time later it
Not
can't
hiding
come back.
in there somewhere.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've known a lot of people have been, surviving, and unfortunately it comes back because it was hiding somewhere else and then resurfaced. So it is just one of those cancers that has a high reoccurrence rate. But then again, I don't think, that's not something we can control and don't let that play a part if you decide
So
to
you
have the
did
surgery
not
or
have your pancreas removed. Therefore, you haven't had to deal with all these other things here.
Well, it's kind of weird because no, my pancreas, I still have it because I still have the tumor and it's located in an area they can't get to safely right now. And for whatever reason, maybe because I made lifestyle changes in 2018, I haven't had chemo since then. It's just been laying there and it's kind of dormant. And as far as I'm concerned, it can continue to sleep. It's
real
fine.
quiet. We're
Yeah,
not going to
just
wake it up.
Yeah, just leave it alone. But I do experience some of the same things even people talk about that happens with the Whipple. So I get this. I still get abdominal pains at times, and just some of the other things that happens. And it's one of those things that you start to learn. You always have to kind of learn and know where bathrooms are.
Yeah.
It's just like
You actually have an app you found.
yeah. There's an app that you can put in where you're going to be and the locations, and it'll show you where the bathrooms are on the way. So it's if you're in a mall, you can type it in.
What's it called?
I can't remember offhand what it's called, but
Put it in the show
I will
notes.
put it in the description.
My wife has always done that. I don't know. She does a small bladder or something. She's always looking for a bathroom.
Well, I think it'd be helpful for a lot of people because, like you said, pregnant women could use it.
Yeah.
Somebody has just.
And then as we get older, we got to go faster.
That's
and
right.
stuff,
Kids, they always.
Kids, my grandkids. Oh my God, quick.
You can go before you leave home, and you still have to go. So it's a great app, but I will put it in.
My grandson, actually, we're taking a trip out to the desert. And I finally said, "You have to go." And he's like, "No." I asked him a couple of times. Finally said, "I really got to go now." I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me?" He said, "Well, I was trying to see if I could hold it for 2 hours." This is a little game he's playing with himself. So now we're in a panic because he's been holding it for an hour here. No.
Yeah, so you really want to be able to find where the bathrooms are. But yeah, it's a great little app, and I will put it in the comments later so they can see that and go to it. And like I said, I have a lot of survivors that use it. So
the good news is when you were diagnosed 21 years ago, they told you what? Go home and
put your affairs in order.
That was the encouraging words they left you with here.
Well, he said, go home, put your affairs in order, because as you know, with your experience, nobody survives pancreatic cancer. Because at that point, I'd already lost 3 family members.
Yikes.
So he wasn't expecting any difference. And
Yikes.
it was probably the worst thing and the best thing he said to me at the time. Because, even though maybe my health still isn't fully in order, but I have done some things that needed to be done.
Yeah.
But it made me realize I wanted to fight.
Yeah.
And so he made me angry. And I was like, I'm one of these, you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to go and find a way to do it.
Have you ever gone back and talked to him again? Say, hey, look at this, buddy.
I see him usually yearly, and he's very happy I'm still around. He gives me the thumbs up, and
Does he ever say, okay, I don't know, what did I thought, I'm sorry?
well, he did admit to me, he'd never had a pancreatic cancer patient.
Right.
And so when I got my diagnosis, he went to school with two doctors that were at, one was at John Hopkins and the other one was at the Mayo Clinic. So he did reach out to them and say, I have this unique case because I also have a kidney issue with a patient who has, I just diagnosed her with pancreatic cancer and she's lost family members. What do I do with her? And so they, got together and decided my treatment plan, and that's how it started. But I have seen him, I see him every year, and I've seen him recently, and he did tell me that because of my situation, he has changed the way he deals with his patients.
There you go. You made a difference.
He tells me, he goes, I listen more, because I was talking to him for months when my dad died and
Yeah.
getting nowhere.
And he's like, yeah. What do you know?
Yeah.
I'm the doctor here. Thanks.
Exactly. And even though he said, I realize, you're not a hypochondriac, but still these things, you're too young. I was only in my 40s and they weren't seeing, I guess, that. And they weren't thinking it was hereditary. So I felt I was kind of getting the brush off.
Yeah. Right.
So,
I don't know why you're still seeing the guy. I would have brushed him off for good here after that one.
Well, he's not per se my doctor, but the fact is that he's still around and still we acknowledge each other. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to give him credit that even though he didn't think I was going to survive, he didn't know anything about pancreatic cancer. He didn't just sit there and do nothing. He did, I feel, go above and beyond to try to get help for me. So I have to always keep that in my mind, that he did something. He didn't just say, sorry, go home, put your affairs in order.
So
and
be an
that's it.
advocate. That's what you always say. You advocate, be an advocate. You're always saying, don't just take one guy's word, one woman's word here. Get a second opinion. Speak up and speak often. Don't just sit back and go, oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to, and it's kind of a shame that you do, but maybe doctors are so busy with so many patients, maybe they just don't have that
So
time.
little
But,
time to see you.
yeah.
They tend to.
So you have to be your best advocate. If something is going wrong and it's not improving after a couple of weeks, you need to really get stern with them and just tell them, I just check the pancreas, just check it.
Just
You never
check
know.
it.
And that's what I did, and luckily for me, that's how it all became, I guess. But
Well, I this is one of the most amazing journeys. I look forward to the show each and every week. I marvel at your journey and the stories of the people that come in here. Some are sad, some didn't make it, some did make it, but all of them tell a real story of what it's really like, and on a subject I never really heard much about at all.
you don't. Unfortunately, it's one of those things, you don't even think about the pancreas. You don't hear about anything
No.
until it affects you. And sadly, what I tell somebody, and it's almost 99% in my case, what I see is, you may not know anybody right now that has pancreatic cancer, but I can almost guarantee you that in some point you will.
Yeah.
And I've had many people who come back and have told me, I'm sorry, you were right what you told me, because now they have a connection and now they want to get involved and now they want to do something.
And
So,
these conversations don't disappear into the air. They exist in the internet, the ether of the internet forever here. You've now got a resource, a library of conversations that people can reference and tune into. I think it's an amazing story anyway, and I certainly think it's useful information, and I think it gives everybody hope.
well, I hope so. That's what I say. If for, whatever reason I'm here, if that is the only reason, then I hope it does do something, because we need that. We need doctors to realize that, we can survive. We need survivors, patients to realize you can survive. It's just, you have to give it your best shot and just do what you feel is best.
Yeah.
But if you're not getting the answers you're comfortable with, go get that second, third, fourth opinion, whatever it takes until you feel comfortable. Don't let anybody tell you how you should feel. You need to be the one to feel comfortable.
Well, don't try telling Roberta anything. I've learned that. Just sit back and listen and enjoy the ride here. And it's been quite an amazing journey. Thanks for sharing this with us on World Pancreatic Cancer. Oh, you got to do a shout out to all the cities that are doing something today.
Yes,
right?
I do. I do want to give a shout out to, for one, the World Pancreatic Cancer Coalition, who are saying we need to say hello pancreas to get to know in our pancreas and what it does.
We're doing this live on November 16th here in 2023.
Yeah, today is World Pancreatic Cancer Day, and what we did is we did go to a lot of our cities and ask them in Orange County to dedicate today as World Pancreatic Cancer Day.
So today it's purple in those orange cities here.
That's right, and we asked them to do a proclamation. So today I want to give a shout out to the cities that did a proclamation dedicating today to World Pancreatic Cancer Day. That is Brea, Costa Mesa, Cypress, Dana Point, Fullerton, Laguna Niguel, Long Beach, Los Alamitos, Newport Beach, Seal Beach, Villa Park, Yorba Linda. And then tonight we asked people to light it purple. We have the Arctic in Anaheim, Queensway Bay Bridge in Long Beach, Santa Ana Water Tower, OC Courthouse, Discovery Center, B Center, Impact Building in Anaheim, and the Big A, who actually did it on accident in October. But we still appreciate their support.
We still love you at
Yes.
the Big A
Yeah,
here.
so thank you for doing
Those are
that.
all landmarks. The water tower in Santa Ana that they usually light up at night. They're going to make that purple. And what was some of the other? The Arctic, that huge transportation bubble off the whatever it is.
Right, in
50s.
Anaheim, yeah, and the Queens Bay Bridge in Long Beach.
There you go.
So yeah, we and Discovery Center, so Impact Building in Anaheim. So we have a lot of people that are participating. Oh,
So
wow.
everybody driving around, they're going to say, why is it purple? This is Orange County, not Purple County here.
Yeah, we'll see how many others. Hopefully, LA got the LAX to do it. I know they did it one year, but I'm not sure about this year. But we just wanted to thank the cities that are, helping
Yeah.
us bring awareness, because it's very important. So thank you for all those cities that are doing it. And if you at home, you can light it up purple, put a purple porch light out, a candle, whatever it is.
I should have put purple on. I wasn't thinking today. I'm all dressed in
Well, I
purple.
guess since we don't see you, we could have said you're dressed in purple, but it's okay.
My underwear's purple. I didn't want to tell
We
you
don't
that.
want to see that part. TMI, Paul. TMI. Anyway, go out. Do purple. Send it. If you want, send a picture. Put it on Facebook or
Yeah.
Instagram, and just tag Turn OC Purple. Hashtag Turn OC Purple.
Hashtag turn OC purple. All right, love it. Thanks for joining us today. Next week, we're here next week because it's still Thanksgiving week, but you're doing a show next week?
No, not on Thanksgiving.
Oh, not Thanksgiving. Oh, that's right. What's today?
We're here on Thursday. We're going to be busy doing other things.
We're going to be doing other things. What am I thinking?
But
We're
happy
not here.
Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. So we won't see you next week. We'll see you the week after that.
Yes, you will.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us again. Well, there you have it. One more reason to tune in each and every time. You learn something here. And you learn that there's a community of people out there just like you, wondering all about this. People who are living with this on a daily basis, sharing their stories for everybody to learn from. If you need somebody that needs some help right now, we've got lots of resources. We gave you one for the Hirschberg Foundation. You can also call here locally, 877 and the number 2 PANCAN. That's 877-2-PANCAN for the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. For the OC Talk Radio Network, I'm Paul Roberts, thanking you for joining us. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you back on the other side with more stories we call Living Hope.